Part 5. Tomb Raider, Marry Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 41. Fatty Wong was so excited that he rushed ahead. However, the next second, his whole body felt empty under his feet. With the sound of "ah," the fat man disappeared directly in front of Sumu and others, including his bag. Everyone's expressions changed. They were afraid that something would happen to the fat man, so they hurriedly followed him. "Fatty, how are you?" Hubie shouted loudly as he ran. "This guy really doesn't make people worry at all." Ding Sishan was also complaining, for fear that something would happen to the fat man. At this moment, Sumu had already run to the place where the fat man fell and disappeared. This was a deep pit, and it was dark below, but for Sumu, who had night eyes, it was not a problem to say it. As soon as he opened his night eyes, he quickly saw the fat man below. The guy was squatting on the ground, covering his buttocks. It was obvious that he had fallen due to the sudden fall just now. "Fatty, are you okay?" Sumu laughed and joked. Hubie and others also followed over at this moment. Using the wolf eye flashlight, I saw the fat man sitting on the sand and exhaled loudly. "Damn fat man, luckily there is sand down here, otherwise your butt would have been broken in half." "All right? Okay. Fatty, it hurts me enough to fall, so stop teasing me, come down quickly. There seems to be something down here." When several people heard this, they no longer hesitated and jumped down quickly. It turned out that there was a stone staircase in front of it, which was extremely spacious, and the walls on both sides were carved with complicated pattern murals. Obviously, this should be the passage to the mausoleum. Everyone immediately went down the stone steps quickly. After walking for about 3 or 4 minutes, everyone finally saw a main hall. "We finally found it, found it?" Professor Chen looked very excited. It is the mission of our archaeologists to bring the dusty history to light again. It's no wonder that his lifelong wish is to find the ancient city of Jingzhou and study Jingzhou culture. Now that everything is in front of him, how can he maintain a normal mind? Sumu opened his night eyes and scanned this place. The hall in front of him and the General Imperial Mausoleum is very different. The overall tone is gray and black. Whether it is the surrounding stone pillars or the floor under the feet, it is extremely dark. It seems that everyone is not coming to the mausoleum of Queen Jingzhou, but a bit like the hell of Yama. Sumu looked at the big faces and strange big eyes carved on those pillars, and couldn't help complaining about the taste of Queen Jingzhou. Why are these things all black and spooky? Fat Wang also frowned to express his displeasure. These are all black stones transported from Magnetic Mountain. It is normal for you to feel eerie. Professor Chen explained with a smile. The carvings on this stone pillar are lifelike, which shows that the craftsmanship of the craftsman back then was quite impressive. Of all the people present, only Professor Chen showed interest in these creepy things. If Shirley Yang and Ding Sishan hadn't pulled him away, he would probably have been studying in this hall for a long time. Everyone continued to walk into the temple. There will be a pillar on every step. Looking at the carvings on the pillars, Hubie discovered that the arrangement of the stone pillars and the patterns on the pillars were very strange. He couldn't help but frown and asked Professor Chen, "The pillars above it's different from the carvings on the pillar below. What does this mean?" Professor Chen pondered for a moment and said, "I am also thinking about this problem, but I don't have any ideas yet. Come on, let's go up and have a look. These are built according to the hierarchical system in Jingzhou culture." At this time, Sumu spoke, "Look at these stone pillars." So, everyone gathered around him, looking at the pillars and listening to his explanation. Generally speaking, temples are guarded by ghosts and gods, but this is completely different. I suspect that the order of the stone pillars here is probably a spiritual symbol with obvious hierarchical characteristics. From low to high, that is, from humble to noble, the first row is livestock, the second row is ordinary people, including all servants in the western regions, their status is only higher than cattle and sheep, equivalent to slaves. And this row is of giant-eyed stone statues. According to this arrangement, the higher you go, the higher your status. Damn it, with such an arrangement, why do eyes have a higher status than people? The fat man was obviously in disbelief. Brother Su, your guess is not wrong, right? No, what Xiao Su said is correct. Professor Chen suddenly said, in Jingzhou culture, eyes are the source of all power. Shirley Yang also nodded. Indeed, according to this, if the status of eyes in Jingzhou culture is so high, then it is indeed possible that Queen Jingzhou's eyes have abilities that ordinary people cannot explain. Hu Bei, I asked. Then you said, she is a monster, and she can disappear whoever she really sees. It should be to go to another dimension, Su Mu suddenly said. Those are all lies made up by the ruling class. Fatty Wang immediately retorted. There must be another possibility, maybe Queen Jingzhou is an alien. Everyone couldn't help but laugh, and Professor Chen said, don't laugh at him, it's not impossible. You know, we have to think about problems from multiple angles. Come and take a look. Ding Sishan on the side seemed to have discovered something and exclaimed. Tomb Raider, Mary Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 42. Come and take a look. Ding. Sishan on the side seemed to have discovered something and exclaimed. She pointed at a stone pillar angrily. Look at the snake on it, does it look like the one that killed in Lyman? I saw that the red snake they had seen before was indeed painted on the stone pillar. And the top of the stone pillar, Hao Ran, was the more terrifying black snake that attacked Su Mu. The snakes painted on these stone pillars were all without exception. They raised their bodies high, as if they were going to attack those who looked at them. It was very compelling. Damn it, this snake is indeed the work of a very clever man. Too bad. It's so harmful. Fat Wan cursed and kicked the stone pillars a few times. He still held a grudge against Lyman's death. Shirley Yang also said with a heavy face, I think these red snakes and black snakes are the Queen of Jingzhou, raised to deal with those who invaded her tomb. Okay, let's go on and try to dig out the exquisite Queen's coffin and expose it to the sun for a few days to relieve her hatred, Professor Chen also said jokingly. Of course, with his temperament, exposure to the sun is definitely impossible. Digging it out is a necessary process. However, the coffin of Queen Jingzhou can be dug out. This is also a great insult to the superior Queen Jingzhou. When they thought of this, everyone felt relieved a lot. The pace of his feet was also faster. Soon, they arrived at the deepest part of the temple. It's even more eerie here. Different from what we saw before, there are no stone pillars here, only a dozen giant stone tablets, which are very conspicuous. Everyone stepped forward and found that these stone tablets did not have any words or even patterns on them, which was very strange. They were all bare. Fatty Wang took a wolf eye flashlight to shine on them, and they were so smooth that they reflected his fat face like a mirror. Fatty Wang looked in the mirror and joked. Hey, do you think this temple was not completed when the Jingzhou kingdom was destroyed? Absolutely impossible. Professor Chen said with great certainty. It's impossible to have nothing right next to such an important location. Su Mu said in a deep voice, there is one possibility, the imaginary number space. Everyone was shocked and looked at Su Mu. Brother Su, please explain quickly, what does this mean? Fatty Wang urged. Su Mu organized the information about the imaginary number space in the original work and explained as much as possible. Imaginary numbers are an unknown space that cannot be explored. Perhaps this represents the imaginary number space. Professor Chen seemed to be enlightened and was a little surprised. What Xiao Su said makes so much sense. He couldn't wait to turn around, shine the wolf eye flashlight on the stone tablet, and said. Above the fourth row of patron saints is a space of unknown dimensions. The power that Jingzhou culture most worships is above this space and controls it. Is there really a space in this world that cannot be solved by human common sense? Hubei murmured. Queen Jingju controls this space again. Hubei frowned slightly. These things completely broke his cognition. Have you ever heard of the Ghost Cave Clan? At this moment, Shirley Yang suddenly spoke. Ghost Cave Clan? What is that? Hubei, Fatty Wang and Ding Xishan were all stunned. Sumu and Professor Chen knew this and reacted very calmly. Shirley Yang explained to Hubei and the others. Legend has it that there is a huge black hole in a sacred mountain, and the people of Jingju ancient city climbed out of this cave, so they call themselves the Ghost Cave Clan. The totem of the Ghost Cave Clan is the eyes, and the queens of the past generations have a magical ability, that is, their eyes can communicate with the black hole of the sacred mountain, and anyone caught by her eyes will be sucked into the ghost cave. Inside, you will never be reincarnated. Super black hole? Climb out? Prisoner. Hubei and the others were dumbfounded. Wow! Horrible, Ding Xishan obviously believed it. Nima, is it true or false? Is Darwin's origin of species false? Non-universal version, Fatty Wang's tone was full of doubts. I think they may all be false legends, just to consolidate their own status. Hubei waved his hands, obviously not believing this. Sumu had a smile inexplicably on his lips. These guys don't believe it now. They will understand it when they get to Kunlun Temple to solve the ghost cave curse. Thinking of this, Sumu, I'm really looking forward to the reaction of these two guys. Okay, now let's still think about how to enter the underground palace. My father is still alive and dead inside, everyone. Shirley Yang came out to smooth things over. Indeed, the location where everyone is already at the end of the temple. There is no road ahead at all, and it seems that the entrance to the underground palace is in this group of stone monuments. This is also true. Sumu was reminded. His father-in-law is still trapped in the underground palace. There are many traps inside, and God knows what's going on now. Thinking like this, Sumu quickly recalled the method of opening the traps in the underground palace in the original work while getting started. And in the eyes of everyone, Sumu suddenly became nervous while chatting. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Tomb Raider, Mary Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 43. Sumu walked towards a stone tablet for a while, touched it, and then spent a lot of effort to reach another stone tablet in the distance and touched it again and again. After touching 5 stone tablets in this way, Fatty Wang finally couldn't help it anymore. Brother Su, what are you doing? Going crazy? Going crazy? Sumu glared at Fatty Wang angrily. Fat boy, if you don't understand, don't talk nonsense. I'm opening the entrance to the underground palace, Fatty Wang. S eyes widened. Brother Su, don't think that Fatty is easy to deceive because I don't have enough education. Can you open the entrance to the underground palace with just a few touches? Sumu has now arrived at the 6th stone tablet. When he saw everyone with blank faces, he couldn't help but smile. Do you know what the 16 Dragon Giant Gate formation is? The 16-door Dragon Giant Gate formation that penetrates the earth. Before Fatty Wang could figure out the meaning of this thing, Hubei, who was more knowledgeable on the side, became excited. He walked around the stone tablet and murmured to himself. This angle, this arrangement of stone tablets, holy shit. It's really a thoroughgoing 16 Dragon Giant Gate formation. As soon as these words came out, not only Fatty Wang, but also Shirley Yang, Ding Xishan, and Professor Chen couldn't suppress the deep curiosity in their hearts. Brother Hu, what exactly is the 16 Dragon Giant Gate formation? Ding Xishan asked curiously. The 16 Dragon Giant Gate formation that penetrates the earth means that the feng shui trend of the earth's veins is like dragons, crisscrossing, The giant gate means that these stone tablets appear on the portals of ancient tombs or underground palaces, and the number of stone tablets is based on a certain order, combined with the arrangement of stars in the sky, to evolve and reorganize, is very complicated and mysterious. It feels so awesome, but I just can't understand fat people. Fatty Wang was still confused, but he also knew, since this underground palace mechanism is some kind of Lashize earth dragon formation, then opening the underground palace is not a problem. He looked at Hu Bei expectantly. Hey, Lao Hu, do you know how to crack this thing? Of course I don't know this. Hu Bei waved his hand quite calmly and looked at Sumu again. So we have to rely on brother Su. Fat Wang gave Hu Bei a disdainful middle finger, and then looked at Sumu next to the stone tablet. Brother Su, can you do it? Even if he doesn't know how to do it, Swilly Yang spoke abruptly, and Sumu smiled and nodded. At this time, he had arrived at the last stone tablet. After a simple operation, he only heard a boom boom sound. The next second, the stone bricks on the ground not far away suddenly sank, revealing a bottomless tunnel. Damn it! This is really the case, the fat man looked shocked. Brother Su is really awesome. Ding Sishan looked at the dark passage, and then at the indifferent Sumu beside her, full of admiration. Sure enough, Brother Su can do anything, Hu Bei also said with sincere admiration. Professor Chen smiled and nodded, obviously agreeing with Hu Bei's words. Okay, now that the entrance to the underground palace is open, let's go down. Shirley Yang urged everyone, but she pulled Sumu and walked at the back. She grabbed the flesh of Sumu's waist and feigned anger. How much have you learned secretly behind my back? Thing. Indeed, Sumu's performance along the way is really amazing. Not only his rich knowledge of tomb robbing, but also the previous black scale snake incident. All of them reflect Sumu's extraordinary. This kind of Sumu is far beyond Shirley Yang's imagination. I thought that my husband would be like him, a novice tomb robber with rich knowledge but no practice. But I didn't expect that in the blink of an eye, I would find that he was a master among masters. Tell me, is it my father who secretly opened a small stove for you behind my back? Shirley Yang continued to ask, but her men were still showing no mercy. Sumu grinned in pain and said innocently. There's nothing you can do about it. Women are inherently disadvantaged when it comes to tomb robbing. My father-in-law must consider passing on his skills. Sumu said and winked at his wife. He is obviously familiar with telling lies with his eyes open. After all, even Shirley Yang is not good at this kind of system. Tell me. Moreover, even if I tell you, no one will believe it. Shirley Yang frowned, apparently believing Sumu. There are many rules in the business of tomb robbing, the first of which is that women are not allowed into the trap. Because women have a strong yin energy, they can easily attract those evil spirits, so they are more dangerous. If during menstruation, the blood energy is emitted, it is easier to attract ominous things. Okay, I believe you for now. Anyway, I know how to kick Kuixing, which you can't. Shirley Yang proudly hit Sumu's chest lightly, and then left without looking back. Sumu followed behind, which was a bit funny. He had already learned Kuixing kicking, and he was more skilled than Shirley Yang. I wonder what her expression will be like when she finds out. Thinking of this, Sumu also quickly stepped into the underground palace. Tomb Raider, Mary Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 44. Everyone walked down the entrance. This stone staircase is still entirely made of black stone, leading diagonally downwards. Fatty Wang and one or two guys from Hubei each held a wolf-eye flashlight, shining towards the front of the secret tunnel. Take a step and take a look, for fear that there is some mechanism in this secret passage. Sumu looked funny. There is no mechanism here in the original work. If the two of them really keep going like this, God knows how long it will take to touch the coffin board of Queen Jingju. Fat man, Lao Hu. Let me take the lead. You two go look after the back. This is too slow. Sumu came directly to the front. Hubei and Fatty didn't have anything to worry about. After all, they saw Sumu's performance along the way, and he was indeed more experienced than them. So the two of them retreated to the back of the team. At the end, Professor Chen and Ding Xishan were in the middle. Shirley Yang followed Sumu with a small exquisite pistol. Once there was any situation in front, she would quickly support her precious husband. But obviously, as Sumu expected, a few minutes passed, and nothing happened until the secret passage was completed. And everyone also came to the corridor area. The corridor was surrounded by bricks from the western regions, 5 meters wide and about 3 meters high, and the surrounding stone walls were full of weird and bright murals. The most painted ones are eyes, including, open and closed, as well as eyelids and eyelashes. Sumu did not squint and continued to move forward quickly. The same was true for Ding Xishan and Shirley Yang. However, Professor Chen, on the other hand, stopped step by step, and expressed emotion from time to time. No wonder he was like this. You must know that the ghost cave civilization in Jingzhou country is too mysterious, so Professor Chen and others have spent decades of hard work and still can't grasp it. How much information! He also has a preliminary understanding of some ghost cave characters and symbols and li shi. In terms of comprehensiveness, I am afraid that only Sumu who has traveled through time knows this world best. Professor Chen soon fell to the end of the team face. Hubei and Fatty Wang looked funny. I said, Professor Chen, you always focus on studying history and forget about your old friends. That is, Shirley Yang's father is still in danger in the mausoleum. This sentence also awakened Professor Chen, who was in addiction. He touched his head sheepishly and smiled. Hey, let's go. Let's study it when we get back. It's important to save people. Fatty Wang grinned and patted the old professor on the shoulder. Hey, this is right. After that, the two pushed Professor Chen to catch up with Sumu and the others. The corridor was not long, and everyone quickly came to the end. But there was nothing here, only a solitary stone pillar standing on the sky brick. And the size is several times larger than the 16 large stone pillars in the previous temple. In front of it is a solid sky brick wall. Why is there no road ahead? Ding Xishan wondered. Don't worry, Xishan, I have a solution. Fat Wang didn't panic. He was about to take something out of his backpack, but was stopped by Hu Bie. I said, Comrade Wang Kaichuan, don't think that I don't know what the hell you are thinking. If you want to blow up the brick wall today, just wait until you are reincarnated in 18 years. Fatty Wang frowned and said. What's the matter? My explosives can't attack this crappy brick wall. Xiao Wang, don't tell me, you're really going to explode. Professor Chen also came over to persuade and said the brick wall today was used to build city walls in the ancient western regions. It is very strong. If you blow it up, I'm afraid the whole will collapse together. Damn, is it so scary? Fat Wang touched his chest with lingering fear. Shirley Yang frowned and looked at Sumu subconsciously. Husband, what should I do now? Sumu smiled slightly. Don't worry. After saying that, he went directly to the stone pillar and turned the stone plate below a few times. Clatter. The next second, the brick wall in front of me opened in response. Damn it, is it that simple? The fat man couldn't believe it. Brother Su is really awesome. Ding Xishan gave Sumu a thumbs up. Hu Bei was thoughtful. Oh, I understand. This thing is the dragon tail of the 16th dragon of the earth. Just follow the method of turning the stone plate and turn it in reverse. Sumu smiled and nodded. Yes, it's actually very simple. It depends on the right person. The fat man said angrily. For example, someone knows how to deal with things later. Fatty. You. Hu Bie angrily chased Fatty Wang from behind and beat him. Fatty Wang and Hubei have been brothers for so many years, and they have already figured out Hubei's temperament. He picked up the assault rifle in his hand early, slipped out of the sky brick corridor, and ran away. Hubei chased after them, while Ding Xishan followed behind them to persuade them. Sumu, Shirley Yang, and Professor Chen looked at each other and followed them dumbfounded. These two living treasures. Tomb Raider, Mary Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 45. After exiting the corridor, you are facing the main hall of the underground palace. Fatty and Hubei had already stopped under the persuasion of Comrade Ding Xishan. At this moment, they were very excited to see Queen Jingji's main palace. Since it was still extremely dark inside the underground palace, they used all the lighting equipment to look at the main hall in front of them in order to see carefully. But what is disappointing is that everything in front of me is in great disarray. The lamps on the ceiling were crooked, and the various pottery, wood, and even copperware placed there were so corroded by the air that they were difficult to see. Sumu could even see gerbils passing by in a few hidden corners. Sure enough, this place has been almost destroyed like the original. Because Sumu had been mentally prepared, he performed well. But when other people saw this scene, they were all disappointed. Especially Fatty Wang, who looked like a pity on his face and in his heart. He sat down on the jade throne in the main hall and cursed. Damn it, why are the people's preservation techniques so incompetent? At least wait for me, Fatty, to come over and corrode it. Who? B.A. smiled and said, Fat man, the jade throne under your butt is a treasure. How about you take it back? Fatty Wang glanced at Hubei and said, I'm not stupid. There are a lot of good things behind me. This thing is so heavy. Sumu just stood here and watched the two guys bickering, which was quite amusing to say the least. At this time, Shirley Yang, Ding Xishan, and Professor Chen, who had just inspected the side halls on both sides, returned. They looked disappointed. It seemed they didn't find what they were looking for. Sumu took Shirley Yang's little hand and comforted, don't worry, with father's ability and character, he must be inside the mausoleum. Shirley Yang nodded, then let's keep moving forward. Everyone walked around after the main hall. We come to the apse. The situation of the apse is basically the same as that of the front hall. So everyone went around without stopping and came to a cave behind the palace. The cave was very low, so a few people walked down for a while, and then the front opened up. In front is a large natural stone cave, and beyond that is a small underground lake. As soon as they saw the underground lake, everyone's eyes lit up except Sumu. Although they had picked up a lot of kettles from Shirley Young's father's team before, the water was used up too quickly in the desert. And every time I drink water, I drink it sparingly. Now I see such an underground lake, and the water is so clear and cold. How can I not be excited? Before Sumu had time to speak, the impatient Fatty Wang and Hubei had already ran to the lake. Plunge into the water and drink. Ah, so cool. Sumu couldn't help but want to laugh. He knew that this lake was where rats swam and bathed, not to mention how dirty and disgusting it was. Fatty, Lao Hu, is this water delicious? Delicious. Is it sweet? Very sweet. Fat Wang and Hubei replied to Sumu in unison, and at the end they waved, Brother Su, come on, let's have a drink together. Sumu smiled and shook his head, no. I'm not used to drinking water like this. Seeing Sumu's refusal, Fatty Wang and Hubei called the others together. Si Tian, this water is so sweet. Would you like to have a drink too? Professor Chen. Officer Yang, aren't you thirsty? The two of them warmly greeted the three people except Sumu to come and drink water together. Ding Xishan and Professor Chen were a little moved by the words, and were about to go over, but unexpectedly Shirley Yang stopped them at this time. Don't go. This lake has been abandoned for so many years. I don't know if it is stagnant water or living water. What if I get poisoned? Let's see their reactions first. Well, it is really possible, and there is a lot of underground sulfur in the western region. Professor Chen nodded with deep sympathy. Fatty Wang and Hu Ba turned green when they heard this. I said, what do you mean by waiting for our reaction first? Co-author, do you always think of us as drug testers? Ding Sishan was also quite worried about the safety of her two friends at this moment. Sister Shirley, are they really going to be fine? Shirley Yang looked calm. I don't know if it's okay or not, but I suggest they drink more. Anyway, drinking less and drinking more is the same. Damn it, Hu Bai and Fatty Wang were both in bad condition. It's fine. At this time, Su Mu spoke. He pointed to the lake and said, I just saw that there are fish in this lake, so it is not poisonous. Phew. Upon hearing this, the hearts of Hu Bai and Fatty Wang returned to their original positions. Brother Su is still reliable. After praising Su Mu, the two of them lay down to drink water again. Before taking 2 sips, Su Mu's words came again. But you'd better look across the lake. Across the lake? What's the meaning? Hu Bai and Fatty raised their heads and subconsciously looked in the direction Su Mu pointed. Su Mu was also very kind, fearing that they could not see clearly, so he deliberately threw a cold firework to the other side. Su Mu was extremely strong, and Len Yanhua was easily thrown high into the sky by him. Orange-red light immediately illuminated the surroundings. Just in time for Fatty and Hu Ba to see it clearly. But at this glance, Fatty and Hu Ba immediately turned green, and the lake water they had just drank into their mouths and were about to swallow was spit out by them. Damn it, mouse. Depend on. Are we drinking the rat's bath water? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Tomb Raider, Mary Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 46. On the lake, countless big rats swam from the other side to the convex land in the middle of the lake. There were tens of thousands of cyan mayflies crawling there, shining like stars in the sky. The mice quickly climbed onto the ridge, feasting greedily and happily. Ding Sishan, Shirley Yang and Professor Chen were all a little surprised when they saw this scene. But Fatty Wang and Hu Ba by the lake were not in such a good mood. When I think about the sweet and delicious lake water just now, it is actually the bath water of the rats in front of me, and it may even be mixed with their urine, feces, and so on. There was a violent churning in the stomachs of the two of them. They opened their mouths and vomited out the lake water they had just drank. Damn it, it's so disgusting. After vomiting, they had the energy to look up at Su Mu, who was standing leisurely not far away, full of resentment. I said, Brother Su, did you deliberately not tell us earlier? Su Mu shrugged. Don't slander me, you two. I was about to tell you, but you two drank water so fast that I didn't have time to dissuade you. Why? As he said that, Su Mu sighed sympathetically. Let you be anxious. The three of them, Shirley and Yang, couldn't help laughing. Professor Chen warned seriously, so, you should listen to Xiao Su more in the future. Do you understand? Hu Bai and Fatty Wang stared at each other, and could only nod helplessly. Since there was no way to drink the lake water, everyone hurried on. The road ahead was basically a cave passage, and the further they went, the better they could. He felt the heavy moisture in the air. Su Mu, who had a keener hearing, could clearly hear the sound of the underground river rushing in the distance. After walking for a while, the rumbling sound of the underground river even reached Ding Si. Tian and others can hear clearly. There really is an underground river. The mark on the map is correct. Ding Sishan cheered. The few people quickened their pace and soon came to a huge underground cave. Not far away, there was a surging underground river. Looking at the clean running water in front of them, the fat man followed Hu Ba. I feel a little uncomfortable in my heart. Hey, if I had known this, I wouldn't have been in such a hurry to drink the broken lake water just now. Fatty, you were the first one to rush over. I was deceived by you, Hubei had a bitter look on his face. Sumu came to the two of them with a smile. Then do you two want to drink this water? Drink. Why not drink? With that said, the two of them came to the underground river. To be honest, except for Sumu and Shirley Yang, everyone else had been thirsty for a long time. Hubei and Fatty Wang also spit out all the lake water they drank just now. So, how could they bear to see this clean underground river water? However, for the sake of caution, Shirley Yang still let them simply filter it before drinking it. After all, no one knew that this endless underground river passed by something. Soon, everyone had a full meal and ate some beef dry food to replenish their physical strength. Lao Hu, this river has such a large flow and is so deep. Is it the disappeared Zijuan River? Fat Wang asked in amazement as he looked at the wide underground river in front of him. Hubei nodded and said, that's right, the Ziju underground river has never dried up. It can flow under the sea of sand for thousands of years. It's really big. A miracle of nature. But how do we get there? Ding Sishan asked worriedly. Shirley Yang also frowned. That's right, I looked around just now and found that there was no bridge to the other side at all, and even the chain was not visible, but there was a 1,000 jin gate on the opposite side. So there must be an entrance. At this time, Fatty Wang suggested, Fat Master, I am good at water, how about I go down and take a look? After saying that, Fatty was ready to take off his clothes. Ding Sishan spat, Fat man, you rogue, if you really go down, based on the speed of the water in this underground river, I guess the people will be gone before you reach the other side. Professor Chen also hurriedly held the fat man. That's right, Xiao Wang. Just wait a moment, the water is very deep, who knows what's in it? We must not be blind. The fat man also felt justified, but what should we do now? Let's look for the agency first. Based on my many years of experience in going to tombs, there must be an agency here. Hubei said with confidence, as if to prove that he was right. He wanted to turn around and ask Sumu behind him. Brother Su, what are you doing? Just as Hubei was about to speak, he found that Sumu had run to the stone statue at the back at some point. I saw his hands groping back and forth on the stone statue, and soon everyone heard a clear stuck sound. The next second, a stone bridge that had sunk to the bottom of the water surfaced, connecting to the opposite side. Everyone was stunned. What are you looking at? Hurry up and get on the bridge. Reading books on May Day will be great. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, April 29th to May 3rd. Tomb Raider, Mary Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 47. What are you looking at? Hurry up and get on the bridge. Hey, here we come. Ding Sishan pulled Shirley Yang and walked up quickly. Brother Su is a great guy with great speed, unlike someone else. Fatty Wang followed closely behind, not forgetting to tease Hubei when he passed him. Hubei's face turned red, thinking of his actions just now. He looked a little embarrassed. There is really no comparison between this person and others. He had just thought that there would be a trap across the river, but Sumu had already discovered and activated the trap. When Hubei thought of this, he couldn't help but be convinced. Brother Su, I admire you. Sumu smiled and patted the latter's shoulder. Okay, you are not bad. Let's cross the bridge quickly. Have to. Everyone crossed the stone bridge and came to the stone gate. Professor Chen looked at the stone gate and said, Look, there is a crowbar here. It seems that someone has been here. Shirley Yang was overjoyed. When she thought that her father was most likely in front, she hurriedly tried to push open the stone door and pass through. But at this moment, a pair of strong hands held her back. It's Sumu. Shirley Yang turned around and saw the latter's serious expression, and couldn't help but ask, "What's wrong, husband?" Sumu said in a deep voice, "Don't be reckless, there is a cliff behind the door." Cliff? Everyone was shocked. Why is there a cliff behind the door? Shirley Yang carefully pushed the stone door open a little. The scene behind the door shocked everyone. "It's really a cliff." Sumu pulled Shirley Yang back a little, and then pushed hard against the two stone doors. The situation behind the stone doors was immediately revealed. There is an unfathomable crack behind the door. In the dark space below, there were waves of sinister wind blowing through, which was extremely terrifying. Sumu randomly picked up a stone and threw it down. It wasn't until a minute later that everyone heard the echo. "This, so deep." Everyone couldn't help but gasped. Shirley Yang was even more frightened. If she had pushed the door in rashly just now, she would have been shattered to pieces. Fortunately, there was Sumu. "Husband, thank you." Shirley Yang turned over and held Sumu's hand, and said seriously. Sumu smiled and touched her head. "Silly girl, I am your husband." "Hee, I really envy others," the fat man said with a smile. "Isn't that right, Xiao Yang, you have a good husband." Professor Chen also looked at the two of them with relief. Hu Ba subconsciously glanced at Ding Xishan next to him. Seeing the latter looking at Shirley Yang with envy, he felt sour when he thought that he was still single. "Hey, you can eat dog food from the next grave, so you can't live." Shirley Yang couldn't help but blush, and for the rare moment she fell silent. "Okay, I won't tease you two anymore. How do we get there now? Is there such a big crack in the front?" Professor Chen quickly smoothed things over. "I think we can only rely on this big chain," Sumu said, pointing to the rusty iron chain on the right side of the stone gate. "This chain is very long and extends to the cliff opposite." "Alas, that's all there is to it." Professor Chen saw that there were no other mechanisms around, so he had no choice but to follow the others and climb up the chain. Fortunately, the chain was large and strong, and there was no breakage after the 6 people climbed up. Everyone walked forward cautiously. Because the chain is slightly slanted downwards, you have to be more careful when walking. It doesn't seem like a long way, but it took everyone a full half-hour to walk. Call. When the last Hubei passed the chain, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. No one wants to come to this kind of ghost place a second time. "Come here, everyone. There is a plank road here." Sumu suddenly spoke. Everyone followed the light of his flashlight and suddenly discovered that there was an extremely narrow stone path on the right. This stone path seemed to have been dug out of the mountain by the workers who built the tomb, and it snaked downwards to the bottom of the cliff. Looking at the width, it seems that it can only accommodate one person. "I am afraid that the mountain wind will blow when I go down later, and it will be bad if I lose my footing," Shirley Yang said with a serious face. Sumu also frowned slightly. Shirley Yang said it right. This cliff plank road is extremely dangerous. He himself is an expert and bold and fearless, but if it were others? If you are not careful, you may fall off the cliff and be shattered to pieces. Especially for fat people with body types like this. Sumu inadvertently glanced at Fatty Wang next to him, but he didn't expect that this guy would be the first to speak. "It's okay, Fatty, I have something here," Fatty Wang said, taking out something from his backpack. Sumu's eyes lit up. Tomb Raider, Mary Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 48. "It's okay, Fatty, I have something here." As Fatty Wang said, he took out something from his backpack. Sumu's eyes lit up. A mountaineering pickaxe. And a special climbing rope. Unexpectedly, Fatty is usually quite unreliable, but he is quite powerful at critical moments. I said, "Fatty, why is your backpack so bulging?" It turned out that such a long rope was installed. Hee, Fatty, I just want to be prepared. Everyone was relieved now. With Fatty Wang's long enough rope, there was an extra level of safety. Hu Ba took the things in Fatty's hands one by one and smashed the mountaineering pickaxe into the cliff. Into the rock. Then he quickly connected the climbing pick with the rope and wrapped the other end around his waist. Come one by one. I'll go down first to check out the situation. You can come back down when everything is fine. After saying that, Hu Bai walked directly down the plank road. Although the plank road is indeed a bit steep, and strong winds blow in the air from time to time, it is simply connected by a rope, and everyone is safe. At the bottom of the cliff. Lao Hu, where are the flares in your backpack? Any more? Hit one up. Fatty Wang greeted. Wait, let me look for it. Hurry up, Ding Sishan urged. Although she had a flashlight in her hand, it seemed that it was extremely dark under the cliff. Everyone could only see a few meters in radius. The rest was darkness, giving people a vague sense of oppression. However, Sumu had night eyes, so he did not have the sense of depression coming from the darkness. Moreover, he remembered that in the original work, this seemed to be the burial place of Queen Jingju. Thinking like this, Sumu subconsciously opened his night eyes. As soon as I opened it, I was blinded by everything in front of me. All I could see were mountains of treasures. There are gold and silver utensils, pearls, gems, diamonds, and chalcedony, all laid out on the ground like cabbage. Gu Sumu swallowed subconsciously. So rich. This exquisite queen. Before Hu Bai found the flare, no one else could see anything further away. Sumu quickly opened the mustard space, all the treasures are packed inside at once. After all, with the temperament of the three old-fashioned guys Hu Bai, Shirley Yang and Professor Chen, they will definitely not let people take too many. The treasures on the ground are visible to the naked eye. Speed reduction. Bang. Wow. Because Sumu picked up too many treasures, a lot of space was exposed on one side of the treasure mountain, causing all the treasures on the top to roll down. Damn it. What? Hu Ba and the others were so frightened that they thought they were rice dumplings. That, I accidentally kicked a stone. Sumu blushed and explained without a beating heart. Call, that's good, that's good. Everyone felt a lot more relieved after seeing that there was no further news. I said, Lao Hu, can you hurry up? It would be really troublesome if it were rice dumplings, Fat Wang urged while lighting. But fortunately, the flashlight's light could not reach that area. Sumu restrained himself a little and began to collect the baby evenly. Chi. Finally, Hu Ba found the flare and shot it into the sky in the distance. Suddenly, a brilliant golden reflected light shocked everyone. Of course, this does not include the indifferent Sumu who has collected a lot of money. Damn it, all the good stuff is here. I said there was nothing in front of me. Hu Ba said in surprise. Damn, I'm really mad now. Posted, Fat Wang shouted excitedly. Almost everyone was stunned by the mountains of treasures in front of them. I'm afraid these were all collected by Jingju from various countries in the western region back then. I don't even know the names of many. Professor Chen murmured to himself, but what is certain is that any item here is a priceless treasure. The fat man's eyes lit up after hearing this, and he wanted to run over to get one. Hu Bai quickly caught him. Fat man, please be careful. There may be a trap here. The fat man was stunned. No way. Fat man, I think it's very safe. Fatty, have you forgotten about Unlaman? Ding Sishan glared at him with hatred. He also said that there is an ancient curse in the Black Desert. No matter who takes the treasures in the Black Desert, he will be buried forever with these treasures. In the Black Desert? That's right. Shirley. Yang nodded. There are so many treasures down here. Why didn't the explorers who came here before take them away? Those foreigners are not good people. They come to China to steal things. These people grab whatever they see, but they don't move at all against these treasures because there is most likely a trap down here that contains traps, poisonous insects, or something like that. No. The fat man pointed at Base Han, which was obviously half shorter on the right front, and questioned, look at this pile, it is obviously lower than the others. There are clearly traces of someone taking it. Sumu took a look and saw that it was he who had taken the most before. That piece of... You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Tomb Raider, Mary Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 49. No. The fat man pointed at Base Han, which was obviously half shorter on the right front, and questioned, look at this pile, it is obviously lower than the others. There are clearly traces of someone taking it. Everyone looked at the fat man's gesture and found that it was really. There is no dust on many gold items, and they are as golden as new. This is the treasure mountain that Sumu stole the most from just now. In fact, not only this one, but also many other treasure mountains were taken evenly. It turned out that the height was much higher than what was in front of me. Hey, that's true. Who? BA said in surprise. He suddenly thought of a possibility, and then looked at Shirley Yang suddenly. Could it be someone under Uncle Yang who took it? Shirley Yang rolled her eyes at him. No, it's impossible, my father is the most disciplined. I believe in my father-in-law. Sumu also stood up at this time. He who was the culprit was still blushing and heartbroken. Didn't I just kick a stone? There was quite a commotion. Could it be because of this? What Xiao Su said makes sense, but now is not the time to dwell on this matter. Let's move on quickly and find someone first, Professor Chen said. That is, fat man, stop making trouble and learn from Brother Su. When people see the baby, he is very calm, Ding Sishan scolded the fat man severely. Okay, let's get on our way. The fat man said through gritted teeth. After speaking, he glanced at Sumu, as if he was surprised that there was someone like Sumu in the world who couldn't be moved by Base Han. But Sumu was extremely happy in his heart. I'm afraid the fat man is this guy. I don't know what happened to me until I died. Sure enough, it's so cool and convenient for a tomb robber to have a portable space or something. Everyone walked around the attractive treasure mountain and continued to move forward. After walking for a few minutes, they arrived at Hubei. The flare dissipated as soon as it was fired. Everyone discovered that a gray light appeared in front of them at some point. Dim, flashing. This is, eternal lamps. In front of everyone are eyeball-shaped lamps. They don't know what they are burning, but they haven't been extinguished yet. But compared to Jinshan just now, everyone is much calmer now. Continue to move forward and walk. After passing through this area of everlasting lanterns, everyone came to a cliff, and in front of them was a dark cave entrance. The cave was really surprisingly big, with a diameter of about 1,000 meters, like a miracle. Sumu knew in his heart that this should be the original work. He fell into the ghost hole. He tried his best to see what was in the depths of darkness. But obviously, there was no end in sight. Fatty, another flare, Hubei said. Fatty Wang understood it and threw the flare downwards. But the small flare could not illuminate this unfathomable hole at all. All the light seemed to be swallowed up by darkness, and in the end everyone could not even see the flare itself. What the hell is this place? There is such a big hole. Aren't you afraid of piercing the earth? The fat man cursed. Do you still remember the ghost cave I told you about before? Sumu said it is said that the ghost cave is connected to an imaginary space, and the people of Jingju ancient city all crawled out from there. Brother Su, you mean, is this the ghost cave? Is the imaginary number space down here? Oh my god. The more Hubei thought about it, the more terrifying he became. Could it be hell down here? Ding Sishan guessed with a pale face. Hey, Xiao Ding, you are a person who has received modern scientific education after all. Why do you still believe in ghosts and gods? I think this must be a natural creation. After all, no one can predict the miraculous workmanship of nature. Anyway, this thing is scary enough. The fat man threw a black stone down, but there was no sound. Shirley Yang was calmer. I don't think it is possible. How can the hole connecting the imaginary space be so small? This should be, it was just a replica built by Jingzhou people, and if I guessed correctly, the exit of the ghost cave must be where the coffin of Queen Jingzhou is stored. Sumu looked a little amused at her daughter-in-law's serious analysis. Although Shirley Yang is smart, calm, and good at analysis, she will make mistakes in her analysis when encountering things that go beyond common sense. But now is not the time to think about this. They are here to come. His father-in-laws. Just now, even he was attracted by this miraculous ghost cave. Now that he came back to his senses, he naturally got down to business first. And his father-in-law was not seen around here. And the original work seemed to be very precise. The queen's coffin is nearby. Then, it is estimated that after finding Queen Jingzhou's coffin, he can find his father-in-law. Thinking like this, Sumu opened his night eyes and searched around. I have to say that this ghost cave is indeed extraordinary. Even with his night vision, he couldn't see very far. While others were hesitating whether to go down to find the resting place of Queen Jingzhou, Sumu walked along the edge of the ghost cave and searched. Soon, he found what he wanted to see. Kunlun Sacred Tree. Tomb Raider, Mary Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 50. I saw a stone beam hanging in mid-air not far to the right of Sumu. The stone beam was thin and long. It protruded from the edge of the ghost cave and just extended to the position directly above the ghost cave. And right at the end of the stone beam, there was a huge piece of wood. The diameter of the wood is more than 2 meters. It looks like a section of a large tree that has been cut off directly. The branches of the trunk are still there, and there are even many green leaves. And there is a huge green flower growing on the wood, shaped like a bucket, with petals rolled together, all green, surrounded by large blood-red leaves. Sumu cheered up. These are the Kunlun sacred tree and corpse fragrance amorphophallus. The place where the Queen of Fineness sleeps. Come all over. There seems to be something here. After hearing this, several people hurried over and shone their searchlights, and immediately exclaimed. I wipe it. Why is this coffin so big? The fat man screamed. Am I dazzled? Why is there still taro growing on the coffin? Ding Sishan rubbed her eyes. However, Hu Ba recognized the origin of the Kunlun sacred tree at a glance. Everyone. This wood, it seems to be the Kunlun sacred tree. This is a divine wood for making coffins. Legend has it that even a section of the Kunlun sacred tree can survive, so if a body is stored in the Kunlun sacred tree, it can remain immortal for thousands of years. Could it be that the corpse of Queen Jingzhou, which we have been speculating for a long time, is here? Happiness comes so suddenly, Hu Ba is a little unbelievable. You must know that the Kunlun sacred tree is something that even the emperor covets. If Queen Jingzhou doesn't use this as her coffin board, Hu Ba will not believe it even if she beats her to death. Damn it, that exquisite queen is lying on the wood, Hu Ba affirmed again. What you said is right. Have you seen the flowers on the Kunlun sacred tree? Professor Chen said. Professor, you mean that thing that looks like a taro? Ding Sishan said subconsciously. It's not taro, it's called corpse-scented konjac. Corpse-scented konjac. Except for Sumu, everyone present heard this name for the first time. Professor Chen nodded. This thing is very precious. It is probably the only one in the world, and it is said that corpse-scented konjac can preserve corpses. It does not rot, and it can also make the corpse emit fragrance, which is very precious. Sure enough, In the coffin in front was Queen Jingju, who didn't run away. Hu Bei said. You do not say. With these two priceless treasures serving Queen Jingju, this woman is truly a rich woman. Fat Wang is very funny. Everything with him can be measured by money. None of this is important. I looked around and found that my father was nowhere to be seen. What should I do? Shirley Yang, who had been silent all this time, spoke anxiously. Her brows were knitted into knots at this moment. She was obviously very worried about her father's safety. Indeed, Sumu had already glanced at Queen Jingju's coffin when he saw it for the first time. Once again, but he didn't find his father-in-law. This should be the end of Jingju ancient city, but they haven't found Yang's father yet. Could it be that they haven't found Yang's father yet? Father Yang didn't come in? Still, already encountered something unexpected? Sumu suddenly felt something bad in his heart. Shirley Yang's body was trembling and shaky at the moment. As smart as she was, she had obviously guessed this possibility. Sumu looked distressed, gently held Shirley Yang's little hand, and comforted. Wife, don't worry, if you want us all to get here safe and sound, there must be no problem if our dad is so powerful. The most important thing is, I heard that corpse-scented konjac can affect people's 5 senses. Maybe what we see now is just an illusion. Can corpse-scented konjac affect people's 5 senses? Shirley Yang looked up with tears in her eyes. You didn't lie to me, did you? If you don't believe me, ask Professor Chen. Sumu smiled and pointed behind. Shirley Yang felt hopeful again, and actually turned to Professor Chen and asked, Professor, this corpse-scented konjac still has this function? Professor Chen nodded seriously. It is said that there are evil spirits in the corpse-scented konjac. Once it grows up, living people can no longer approach it, because its fragrance can easily interfere with people's consciousness. So what Xiao Su said is very possible. Damn it! Real or fake? Fatty, I feel like I can smell the fragrance now. The fat man took several steps back as if facing a formidable enemy. I smell it too. And I. Hu Bei, Ding Sishan and others all spoke one after another. At this time, everyone felt that something was wrong. Is it possible? Is it true that, as Sumu said, they are all in an illusion at this moment? But isn't this illusion too peaceful? At this moment, even Sumu couldn't guarantee whether he had fallen into the illusion of corpse-scented konjac. Just when I was thinking about asking the system, a creepy giggle sound suddenly came from the coffin. Everyone's scalps were numb, and a cold air went from the back of their necks to the soles of their feet. This is crazy. Could it be that Queen Jingju faked her corpse?